Welcome everyone to the ESCO Roadshow. On this adventure, we head down to Waller, Texas to the Daikin, Texas Technology Park. This facility opened in 2017 and encompasses 4 million square feet under one roof, the equivalent of 74 football fields.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us on the ESCO Roadshow. So on this adventure, we're spending time at the Daikin facility in Waller, Texas to really look at the advanced manufacturing side of our industry. And so I'm spending time with Dhaval Shah. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So you are the Vice President of Manufacturing Operations here at Daikin?
Yes, that is correct.
And how many years have you been here?
25 plus.
Oh my. So you've seen the entire evolution of our industry as well as this company.
Yes, the good, the bad, the ugly. Yes, everything.
Exactly. I've been to this facility a few times. I actually visited the original facility, but not on the manufacturing side, a long time ago. And I've always been impressed with how Daikin is constantly evolving this facility. Could you tell me a little bit about how robotics has changed, especially in the last few years with Daikin?
So when 7 years back, what you look behind you is a robot. That didn't exist. That we installed about 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
In this facility.
Okay.
One of the reasons is obviously automation brings more consistency and efficiency.
You bet.
But for us, it was more important, or it was even more critical that we care about the safety of our people.
Oh, yeah.
So this robot, where you see them picking up the coil, it used to be something that two people will go out and pick up the heat exchanger coil manually and then put it on the rack. Right over here now, we got the cobot. So yes, it helps you with efficiency, but more importantly, the investment helps us save the people, make morale, improvement on the people side because they know that we care about them. Wow. And of course, from the quality aspect, because the handling of the coil, these are all very fragile parts.
Yeah.
So it makes a huge help or deal
quality.
When from the quality standpoint of view, you have a coil that does not have any dents on it.
No human inconsistencies.
Yes, the human inconsistency kind of is eliminated by implementing the robots that we have over here.
Wonderful. Very interesting operation.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
With a footprint of 4.23 million square feet under a single roof, the Daikin, Texas Technology Park is the third largest factory in the United States, behind the Tesla factory and the Boeing Everett factory, and the fifth largest in the world. The facility was designed from the ground up to encourage collaboration as well as innovation. With engineering and manufacturing in one location, product innovations can quickly be tested and implemented into manufacturing processes. Closer collaboration between manufacturing and logistics allows for quick and efficient delivery of needed products to better meet customer needs.
All right, so Dhaval, over on this side, we've transitioned from some of our robotic assistants in the beginning of manufacturing. As we're moving along, this is actually on the commercial rooftop package assembly. Tell me a little bit about things that have developed and changed along this assembly.
So if you look at the way we used to build this residential package unit before this factory came into existence, was completely different. For example, you see the leak test booth right at the...
I do, with all the red and green lights?
Right.
Yes.
That's a leak test booth, and it is automatic leak test booth. So the unit goes in, it gets 100% leak tested before it comes out. If it fails, it's not going to allow the operator to go and do the next operation. It will be basically lined out right at the point of where the problem is found.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Obviously, if you look at the other thing, you will see that we have different units coming down the line.
Yeah, they're not all the same.
No, because we don't build more than 4 units of the same kind.
Oh.
So we are trying to satisfy what the customer requirement is.
You bet.
We don't want to go out and build thousands of the same kind. We would rather go out and build whatever the customer needs are. So in this case, we have a work order of only 4 units at a time. So every 4 units, there might be a little bit of a change. It might be a different brand, like a Daikin or a Goodman.
You bet.
Or it might be a different kind of
different design.
It might be, different kind of design. It might be a multi-position, a heat pump, or a gas. So that's how it runs, and the system is extremely good. And when I say the system, the material planning system is extremely good. The material flows according to what the order is. For example, if you look at the AGV, the automated guided vehicle that comes down, each one of them is going to be lined up with the order that is being built. And so the operator that you see picking up, that's the cobot that picks up the top. It picks up the correct top that is already
matched to that
with the model.
Right.
And then we have the critical component scanning, which is huge for us, which separates us out from a lot of other competition. Compressors, contactors, motors, fan blades, tops, we scan them.
Every individual
product gets scanned at each station.
Oh, wow.
So if this operator forgets to scan that particular top, the next operator will not be able to scan until this one is scanned. So it's going to go on and fault out the unit or line. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very intriguing. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the product batches, and there's a lot of identification tags and like kits where things are made specifically for those models.
Yep, absolutely.
Wonderful. A lot of automation here.
Yes, that is correct.
Excellent.
Located just outside of Houston, Texas, the Daikin Texas Technology Park allows Daikin to consolidate manufacturing, engineering, logistics, marketing, and sales for the Goodman, Amana, and Daikin brand unitary heating and air conditioning products in one location. The facility is designed to better serve customers, employees, and the environment. The Texas Technology Park is also designed with the environment in mind. It includes an energy management system, a brilliant white roof to reflect the Texas heat, and energy-efficient LED light produces improved illumination. Office interiors are LEED certified, and the flood control retention pond is also used for landscaping irrigation. Daikin's sustainability commitment includes a 1 megawatt solar power plant. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has honored Daikin Texas Technology Park with EPA WasteWise Regional 2020 and 2021, as well as National 2021 awards for demonstrated success improving sustainable waste management practices, which successfully diverted or prevented waste from the facility reaching landfills or incineration.
As we're walking through the factory, we're seeing a lot of investment into lean manufacturing, I would call that. And it really starts with the DNA excellence of Daikin. Can you tell me a little bit about how the DNA is a part of the culture of Daikin?
So there are a couple of things. One is DNA represents Daikin North America, but it also represents the DNA, like genetics, right?
Absolutely.
And the culture of Daikin itself is PCM, people-centered management. And Daikin's philosophy is about making sure that we care about the people. We want to go ahead and make sure that people are valued in this company.
Right.
The philosophy is that when they come over here to work, they see themselves progressing.
Sure, a future.
They see a future for themselves, and they also see them progressing from an hourly employee all the way to somebody who can take my position. That's the philosophy of Daikin, and that's how PCM is, people-centered management.
Okay.
Everything revolves around how you utilize individual, how you develop people, how you go ahead and make sure that you are allowing or empowering people to make courageous decisions. Humanity is huge.
Right.
Nowadays it's all about making profit. Yeah, you can make profit if you develop your people, if you utilize the people, and you empower them. They are the same group of people who are going to help you make money or make profit. But the key over here is when you develop people, you're creating a succession plan. You're creating talent that is going to stick around with you rather than going somewhere else. Yes. So that's huge. And one of the way we do that is by lean manufacturing. Last year alone in FY24, we had over 1,000 Kaizens that manufacturing alone did in 1 year.
And what is a Kaizen?
Kaizen is basically continuous improvement. So you are continuously improving. It's as simple as creating a spot for a trash can to something as complex as making sure that the product that is designed by the design engineering group, when it comes down over here for us to build, we are building it right. The processes are created correctly. And so that's what Kaizen is all about, or that's what continuous improvement is all about. And we have done over 1,000 of this continuous improvement process. And all those 1,000, each and every one of them has been the input from the people on the floor.
Oh, really?
It's not done.
It's not a management
It's
decision
not a
down?
management decision. It's not done by engineers. It is done by the people on the floor. They are involved. They're engaged. There, we take their ideas. We take their suggestions. One of the main reasons we do that is because if people know that this is going to help me, it's going to stick around.
Yeah.
Kaizens are not as simple as just go out and make the improvement and walk away. If you do that, it's not going to go out and sustain.
Right.
By doing this 1,000 Kaizen, you go down over there right now to any of those Kaizens and they stick around. One of a good example is when we were launching R32 A2L products, we found out that when design engineering designs the product, they bring it down to the floor. They collaborated with our production engineering, our continuous improvement team, our MPL, new product launch team, and operations. And they work together to make sure what's going to work for manufacturing.
Okay.
It wasn't something that designs and they will just
Said, here
give it to
you
us.
go.
No. It's a collaborative effort by the whole team on the floor, on the assembly line. We do mock trials, we do pre-pilots, we do pilots. But during that whole process, we make sure that at the end of the day, when we start production, everything is done right.
Wow.
So that's what lean manufacturing is. Without people engaged, you're not going to be able to be successful.
Well, and I wondered about that. I know Daikin was one of the first manufacturers that had converted from their A1 R410A over to our A2L R32. And I just heard yesterday that that was like August or September of 24?
Yes.
Wow.
So we launched about 43 different projects. We started, it took a lot of planning. We started in around 2022. The design engineering team and marketing and sales team started together on what they want to provide to the customer, offer to the customer. And by the time we launch in 2024, even though it starts in 2025, we wanted to go ahead and be the first one to go out and launch and get it out to the customer. So yes, we started in August.
In the middle of the season.
Absolutely. So we were building R410 and when we were building R32 product.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Oh, wow.
So there was a lot of planning that went into that. And then, of course, manufacturing has to come back and make sure we're executing it right.
Sure. And so by using those Kaizens on the floor, we're able to, if there is any potential hiccups, which I can imagine there has to be, that's a huge transition. You're actually using feedback directly from those that are manufacturing the equipment to help make any adjustments along the way.
Yes, absolutely. But also I want to mention one thing. We follow certain protocol over here. For example, we will have the working trials.
Right.
That is done by design and production engineering. Then we have mock trials, which involves operations. Now, this can be almost 3 months or 4 months before the unit or the product earns its way to the main assembly line.
So those are units that are in the field in service, like for test?
That's different. That's working trial and testing.
Okay.
Once that is already proven out, then it goes into the manufacturing prototype shop for mock trials. Once the mock trial passes and we find issues, we fix it.
Right.
We do, if we require, we go for mock trial too.
Right.
Once that is done, the unit has now earned its way to the assembly line as pre-pilot. That's when we do a single unit or 2 unit of each of the type of models, and we do it on the main assembly line.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
So there's so much investment, not only in terms of financial, but also in terms of people investment that we carry out, training. We have the instructions ready at the pre-pilot.
I see.
So we already know what the design is going to be.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's going to be small, minor changes here and there.
Right.
When we start running full-fledged, thousands of units, then obviously we make some adjustment. But that's very small compared to if you don't do any of this process and you launch it directly on the line, it'll be a disaster.
Wow. Yeah, I can only imagine the planning, from the outside looking in. There's a lot of transition that's happening for technicians in the field that are installing equipment. It all comes down to education.
Yes.
Understand the differences and then implement that. From the manufacturing, was there any major hurdles, or it sounds like it was a fairly smooth transition for Daikin?
I would say yes. There were some bottlenecks, obviously, because you design it, you bring it to the line, but overall it has been a very smooth transition for us because we have been putting so much effort on the planning side.
Right.
We had the production engineering getting the right equipment. We did the runoff and we did the trials over here when we brought the equipment back. So there's a lot of production engineering and new product launch effort that is shown after we launched the product. So no, it wasn't really. To be honest, it was one of the best launch that we had in years.
Yeah. Well, and I can understand when you're spending that much time into the preparation, years into the preparation, and you're investing into the feedback that is coming from multiple different aspects of manufacturing. I'm sure it did simplify things.
Yes.
It's been very impressive to watch. I really enjoy this facility.
Absolutely. R32, Daikin is been always been the innovator, and they lead in innovation, and R32 is nothing
new for Daikin.
They have done it in Europe. They've done it in India.
Exactly.
This is something for them. They decided to separate themselves from the competition.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is they have a huge confidence in their ability to be able to go out and convince the customer that this is the future, of HVAC.
I believe it is. This is the future of HVAC. Daikin VRV4 and VRV Life Systems are engineered and assembled in North America at the Waller facility, specifically designed to meet the unique needs of the North American residential and light commercial markets. While Daikin originally invented VRV technology in Japan in 1982, models like the VRV4 and VRV Life, including the VRV4X, are now produced in North America. As I'm walking through the facility, I'm seeing a lot of happy people, seeing a lot of smiles, and there has to be some distinguishing factors in Daikin that makes the manufacturing here at this facility different than other manufacturing. Can you tell me about how that happens?
So I did talk about PCM, right? People-centered management. That's huge.
Yes, it is.
I mean, we did a Gallup engagement survey with Gallup, tying up with Gallup last year.
Yeah.
And our engagement came out at 80%.
It's pretty high.
It's pretty high for manufacturing.
Yeah, you bet.
So obviously it shows that people are engaged, but at the same time, we are engaging people. We are empowering people out over there on the floor. This facility consists of about almost 6,600 employees.
Right.
And it might not be the highly automated facility, but we know where we want to go out and put automation and where we want to go out and have only the people touch.
Okay.
One of the biggest things that separates us from the rest of the competition is our vertically integrated concept for Daikin. So we are a highly vertically integrated factory. And when I say that, we have raw material coming in from the south of the factory.
Right, we've seen that.
And finished goods coming out of the north of the factory.
Oh, absolutely. All in a line.
Yes. We are looking at almost sheet metal department, fabrication department, building about 350,000 different kind of parts, SKUs per day. We have heat exchanger coils. We see almost 8,000 to 9,000 coils being built every day.
Oh, wow.
However, the key over here is, and I'll give an example, during COVID, we saw the importance of vertically integrated factory, because we were able to respond much better compared to the competition when it came to after COVID era.
Right.
That, the customer needs were addressed. We were able to go out and change our schedule based on what the customer needed.
Okay.
But that was all because we were so independent in terms of supporting the assembly line.
You weren't waiting for other manufacturing departments or even facilities to get up to speed to get you the components to do the manufacturing here. You were doing it all in the one facility.
So we had our tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 supplier right over here inside the factory.
Exactly.
We don't have to depend on people that they are going to struggle to give us due to COVID, not having people.
Right.
We were much more self-sufficient and efficient compared to our competition.
You know, when I think about this building, and for anyone that's watching, it's hard to grasp the size of this facility from the outside. You really have to go through the inside to be able to witness the sheer magnitude. But you're right. As I'm thinking about that, all of the raw goods were coming in at this side of this facility and going out at that side. And now that I think about it, every one of those manufacturing lines were all aligned in that same direction.
Yep, south to north.
Wow. Okay. There's another thing that I noticed along the way in part of, keeping everything manufactured in-house, even as far down to wiring.
Yes.
Okay.
I think you should share that because that's very intriguing to me.
So this is something which is inherent from the old Goodman days.
Okay.
But Daikin makes their own wires.
Yeah.
And wire harnesses.
Yeah.
Daikin makes their own tubing and tubing. And it's not, if you go down over there on the floor, you will see it's actually not on the floor, it's on the mezzanine.
Yeah.
But it's a self-sustained kind of a department.
Right.
It has pretty small, cute machines that will go ahead and spit out the wires, and it will go ahead and put the terminals on it automatically. Right. All the operator has to make sure is check for quality. Otherwise, it's an automated machine that goes in. So as I said, a lot of automation exists in fabrication compared to assembly.
Sure.
Because we want to have that human touch when it comes to assembly for people to go ahead and have the pride when they build the product, assemble the product.
Yeah. Even the wiring, it all starts from one color.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's even
we dyed
different
in-house.
Yes,
we dyed different.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. That's very intriguing. It really shows how implementing every aspect of that manufacturing, including manufacturing your own refrigerant, gets into a vertical integration.
Yes.
And simplifies that process.
Yes, absolutely.
Love it. Thank you.
The Daikin Texas Technology Park manufactures Daikin, Goodman, and Amana brand heating and air conditioning products, employing nearly 10,000 people, and serves as the company's North American headquarters for manufacturing, engineering, and logistics. The facility is the world's largest tilt-wall constructed building, housing 432 panels that measure 2.3 miles across. Some of the largest panels weighing 207,000 pounds.
All right, thank you for joining us. So we're in the Daikin Brazing Dojo, and I'm hanging out with Damien Castelle. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your role here at Daikin.
So my role here is to manage all the brazing dojos.
Yeah.
So we have 3 brazing dojos here in the facility. So this is where we train our employees to become brazers, whether it's copper or aluminum.
So Daikin is very unique in the way that it trains and develops. You actually have international competitions all based around brazing.
Yes.
So let's talk about, as a new employee, what does that process look like for vetting employees to see if they're even going to be good at brazing? Maybe someone's never done it and they don't even know if they would be.
So for a new employee, usually we try to, anybody that's interested in brazing, we try to get internal candidates, but if we have to hire external, we always do a pre-screening, which we check kind of their vision, dexterity, see how they work with their hands.
To see if they can maneuver when they're on the line. Sure.
And also how they follow instructions, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, if someone is good at using their hands, but not good at, following commands and
their vision
exact
is not
processes,
good, then,
or they can't see it very well. Yeah, because, brazing is not for everyone. And one of the conversations I was just having is that for some people, it becomes natural.
Yes.
And when they find that, it really becomes an art.
Yes.
And it becomes a very enjoyable task to do.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the different steps that you have and the different training that you do here at Daikin.
Okay, so here we either train an employee to become a copper brazier or aluminum brazier.
Oh, that's true. You have both products. Yeah.
So they go through a 40-hour course, which is a 1 week, Monday through Friday, and then they do hands-on training on the actual production floor.
Okay. And so once they're in the production floor, is there any continuing education, any follow-up training after that?
Even for internal trainers, we always, advanced skill training, which you learn different type of alloys like brass and silver.
Sure.
So we always try to invest in the skill of developing the people.
So you'd mentioned as trainers, so let's talk about the competition a little bit, because this is really interesting. So how does that work?
So the competition we have local, which is just the Daikin factory here at Houston.
Internal, right?
And then we go through regional, which is, all the North America's regions get together, and usually we are the ones that host the competition here.
Well,
then after that, the top 8, maybe they get a chance to go to Japan and compete globally.
Nice.
And that's every 2 years.
Okay.
So you're going against, China, Japan, all over the world, Europe. And
because I think I'd heard that there was like 131 different facilities worldwide.
Yes,
I mean,
worldwide.
that's a lot of different competitors.
Yes. So the brazier gets to showcase their skill, and also it represents your home
their manufacturing facility.
So.
Very cool. Yes. All right, so Damien, one of the things that I noticed walking around out on the line, there is a lot of hand brazing, manual brazing. So tell me about like the amount of joints that are actually hand brazed and how many brazers you have in the facility.
Okay, so for the facility, we have a total of 55 brazers right now.
Really?
Any brazier could braze anywhere from, I guess, 500 joints to 2,000 joints per day.
Per day?
Per day, yes.
Wow. Okay, because a lot of people don't think about the manual side of brazing, and I know all of the braze joints are even identified for every single braze joint along that whole manufacturing process.
And each area is broken down by brazing station. So brazier is responsible for these 3 joints at the beginning, and then as the unit goes down the line, there'll be other stations where their brazing is required. So
so you can actually track who did what joint along the entire process.
Yes.
And then so I would assume that if we notice that someone is having some issues with the quality, then they could probably come back in and do education.
We do some more hands-on on the actual line.
Yeah.
If they need further training, we bring them back into the dojo, which is the whole purpose of the dojo, to kind of a room for where they can concentrate and train on that skill.
Yeah, it's a continual education for that particular job. Excellent. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us once again on the ESCO Roadshow. Learn more about Daikin, a global indoor comfort solutions provider with a relentless pursuit of innovation at daikincomfort.com.